Hang on a second, I gotta pull up the result.
Just to have it as part of the official log, that's all.
Oh. Okay, give me a second here. There were a total of 48 ballots cast. For President, Stephen Reagan received 65% of the vote, and Thomas Caliban Frido received 35%. For Vice President, Joel Meredith received 100% of the vote. For Treasurer Stacy Smith received 98% of the vote. There was one write-in for Scott Monkern. Not that I really wanted it. For Secretary, we have Kiana Salas receiving 79% of the vote, with Donald Woods receiving 21% of the vote. For our one trustee position, Sharon Igoe von Baron received 98% of the vote, and there was one write-in cast for Donald Woods.
Okay. It was Scott. As the executive representative for the elections, were there any discrepancies that needs to be reported at this time?
There were two issues that were raised. Tom Swiss, hang on a second, people are coming in. Tom Swiss says he did not receive a ballot. Our election system actually verifies delivery of ballots, and I sent him the verification of delivery saying this is the email address it was delivered to, and this is the time it was sent to. And then there was one other person who said they had not received a ballot. I did not have them on the membership rolls. I asked them, would they have been registered under a different name? Those were the only two disputes that I had. We did file two different emails asking people, both on the FSA announce list, on the FSA Facebook group, saying, if you didn't get a ballot, please let me know. We did not receive any before the end of the election. And so the two votes that are currently in dispute would not affect the results at all.
Okay, so the two votes would not change any outcome. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Were there any other discrepancies or anything to be reported about the technology, about anything?
I did an audit of the ballots cast, and it came out that every single ballot was cast from a different IP address at a different computer, which means there was no potential for election fraud.
Copy that. Okay. From the point of the trustees, then we accept these results. Are we good, or are we just more people joining?
There are people popping in, and I'm letting them in as they come in.
Copy.
Yeah, that was me, Jim.
Okay.
Hi, Jim.
Hi.
Jim.
So, Mr. President, then, from my understanding, is that these are the election results as reported by Scott, our election official. The trustees are accepting the results as reported. How say you from the point of the executives? Are we good?
Oh, I absolutely, contrary to President number 45, I completely accept the results of the election.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And I certainly wish Ash all the best. And obviously, if there's an opportunity for, sorry, Stephen, but he's in the video. See, it says Ash.
Oh.
See,
I go by both.
You can't fool a fool. I know exactly what I read. And if you'd like to talk to me about how things went this past year, I'm more than happy to talk with you. Thanks again.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Good. So that's Mr. President, do you have any old business? I'm talking to the sitting president, Cal. Do you have any old business that you wish to review or discuss for the benefit of the membership or the president-elect?
No, I think that that basically the greatest amount of information is going to come from the trustees regarding the 501c3. That's been some of the biggest progress outside of Scott's report on the summer gathering.
Okay. Is there anything else that you wish to hand off in terms of ongoing initiatives or projects that the organization has any degree of commitment to that we need to follow through on?
No, I believe that all that was actually being directed through the trustees.
Okay. All right. Very good. Then, Mr. President, are you at this time turning the meeting over to the president-elect?
Absolutely. The results have been announced, and I've said thank you for the opportunity, and I wish you guys all the best. And like I said, if the current president would like to talk with me about this past year, I'm more than happy to talk with him.
All right. Well, on behalf of the trustees and the membership, thank you for your service, Cal.
Not a problem. And if for some reason you can't find a quartermaster, I kind of did that job for 8 years.
We are definitely going to need a quartermaster, so we'll definitely keep you in mind for that. I appreciate the thought. Okay, Stephen, Mr.
Yes.
President, the meeting is yours.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to everybody, and it touches me that people have confidence in me. I'm new to this organization. I've been involved with FSG going back to 1999, the gathering. I've been in the pagan community for over 25 years, and I just want to do my part to try to help the organization any way I possibly can. And I will need everybody's assistance and everybody's input so we can collectively come together and try to do the best that we can to put this organization where it needs to be.
Very good. Stacy, based on these election results, are you accepting your continuance as treasurer?
I'm accepting my continuance with one caveat. This will be my final term. We have to find somebody to study from under me because I can't do this for 10 years in a row.
Yeah, no, you've definitely gone way beyond. Okay, that'll be definitely, I think, Mr. President, I think that's going to have to be a top priority since she's notifying us about that.
Absolutely.
Stacy is absolutely core to the organization's functionality. So that's going to be a big priority in finding somebody that can understudy under her and replace, I don't know about replacing, but I don't know about that part, but picking up the reins for sure.
Stacy, do you have anybody that you've sort of started mentoring for that position?
No one's ever expressed interest. But I'm open. I can work with anybody. Anybody who's willing and has, 3 brain cells to rub together in these days can sometimes be hard to find.
Yeah, preferably with experience in accounting and bookkeeping.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. Is Orr on, our secretary-elect?
I am.
You are. Mr. President, meet your secretary.
Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Or why don't you give us some information about yourself so that everyone can understand your skill set?
Sure. My name is Orr. I am normally in normal times an executive assistant, so I have experience with note-taking, scribing, trying to make the big ideas into bullet points. In addition to that, I've also have marketing experience. So I have marketed for a small coffee shop while I was in college, and just really good with social media and things of that nature. And I'm really happy to be here. So if anyone ever has any questions for me or wants to ask me more about my background or anything, feel free.
Okay.
Or
yeah,
when this is over, could you provide me with your contact information?
Of course I can.
Thank you.
Or we'll definitely go over the bylaws with you in terms of the specifics of the job. It's often a misunderstood role. It's an important role. It has key elements. The trustees are going to state right up front that one of our key priorities for you and the executives that you'll be a part of is a reconsolidation of the membership roster, the logs. They have to be, we've extended membership to everybody because of a variety of things from COVID to miscommunications since COVID. But we really, at this point, the bylaws require dues as part of being a member in good standing. So in conjunction with the treasurer, we're going to need to have a list of who the members are, who is currently paid and not paid. And if there's a discrepancy of not knowing that we follow through on that, and that'll be something between you and the treasurer, so that we actually have a list of members in good standing, and to make sure we have all of their information and all of the mailings that they receive. That's pretty important.
Along with that, I'm going to say another vital role of the secretary is our record keeping.
100%.
So I have some records from the board before me, and as well as everything, of course, for myself. A lot of our records have been lost to change in the guard and everything else. So what I do have, I will make available to you. I think almost everything is digital, but I do have some, a good sizable box of paper
Lovely.
that can be turned over to you in that capacity.
Thank you so much.
Doing the database of OR is going to be very important. I echo, the trustees echo the treasurer 100%. There's been too many turnover of the guards, and we've discussed this on every level of the organization with the lead coordinator, with the executives and the trustees. One of the things that we really need to be committed to in this next season, from the current 2024 year ending with the festival and going into the 2025 season, is consolidating all of our records, having them digitally available and stored safely, and having all of our information, even down to the coordinator and their list of references and resources and contact information, from anything from porta potties to tiki torch oil to whatever it is. We need to have a much better handoff of information between officers and executives and trustees from board to board. And that's been a failing of this organization, and we need to resolve that, because we're having many issues that we shouldn't have, because there's no continuance of information.
There used to be what was called a festival binder, which used to have all of that in paper form. We need to create a digital version of the festival binder.
It's going to be a big project.
I have something to say about dues.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Since COVID, no information has been sent to the membership about any dues. So I suspect that unless you attended festival last year, nobody is paid.
Well, no, and that's that's the premise that we've been operating on, is that since 2020, which was the COVID year, anyone who has attended festival is in membership. There has been no membership payments or due payments over and above the festival since then. So what we need to do then is, now that we have overcome that hurdle, that obstacle, we now have to reinstitute the dues being a separate function than the festival. That's what Craig was saying, is that is required by our bylaws, and we need to get that back online.
Yeah.
100%.
And a lot of us paid our dues at festival for the next year too.
Yeah, that's an old, that was an old thing where you would pay your extra $25 and then you were paid for the next year, which is something we could certainly institute again. And in the age of PayPal, my only thing with PayPal is, as I've said to the several people who have asked me, where can I PayPal my dues to? If you don't put your legal name and the fact that you are paying dues in, if you just send me $25, I have no idea who you are, where it's coming from. So PayPal is real easy, just to hit that pay button, and not knowing that the other side doesn't have all of the information that's required to appropriately apply that payment. So I have to make sure that anybody who sends me anything, if someone asks you, any one of you, where can I pay? How can I pay? PayPal's a fine option. I love it. Go straight into the bank account, but you have to tell me who you are legally and what you're paying me for.
Couldn't we just set up a QR code that automatically goes to that account? That way there's no questioning on your part.
I don't
If there's
see why
somebody who
not.
knows how to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, the
But-
issue is that the issue isn't a QR code or a PayPal email address. We can even we have Stripe now. We have a merchant account, so we can do that. The issue is if you do a PayPal payment in the memo field, you have to note what it's for, so that Stacy, who is ever treasurer, will know that it's a membership payment and who it is for, which just the PayPal may not have all that, the QR code may not have all that information in it.
Okay.
And we should probably ask for $3 more to cover the fees that PayPal is going to take, so that the organization actually gets the full membership dues.
That's the we're not disagreeing.
Because it's
Matter
like
of fact,
$3 for, on $25, it's gonna be
Yeah.
3%, so.
Well, the trustees have definitely talked about having membership tiers and changing pricing and what value we can build into the membership to make that worth it. But any change there's a specified mechanism in the bylaws about how you change the dues. We can't just change them. There's actually a mechanism for
Right.
that.
Well, we do
Um,
have to have some sort of electronic and or digital payment, because right now Free Spirit does not have a mailing address. Our PO box, what do you call it?
The resident agent.
No, our expired. Our PO box
Okay.
expired.
Oh,
And
that I
so-
didn't know. Okay.
Yeah. So we don't have a mailing address. So I mean, I'm
Well,
not
if we-
exactly thrilled about giving everybody my mailing address, but
No,
I mean,
no.
No.
You shouldn't have to.
For obvious reasons. All right, so that's actually something that the trustees discussed in detail. One of the things that we feel strongly about is the resident agent role has to be a separate third party entity, a lawyer's office most typically, that is hired specifically to fulfill that function and role. So that if there's any changing of the guard of any degree of tumultuous nature, there's a independent, objective party that has the actual address and contact information to receive official documentation from the state or any other official agency on file, so that it doesn't
Now,
expire.
remember, the resident agent is different from your business address and who's handling your business mail.
it
The
is.
resident agent, is a very specific role for basically handling legal communications and communications from the state. They would not handle day-to-day mail.
No, I got that. I'm sorry. I was probably hitting two things at once. The both things are true. And we do need to get a PO box, and we do need to have the resident agent in place, not as a member of the organization. I believe that the amount that they charge is something around the $100, $120 a year range. We're not talking about large sums here. So, and that protects us in a variety of ways, but we do need the resident agent set up. We do need a new PO box. How did that expire, by the way?
It was
I
one
know
of
how it
those.
is.
It was one of
I know
those
how it
things during COVID where we financially couldn't afford to re-up the PO box.
And we didn't have a secretary
No,
for a
we
while
certainly
there.
didn't. And
the
the
PO
notices were going to this PO box that doesn't exist. So nobody was getting them. So when I called to say, hey, I've noticed I haven't been billed, they said, oh yeah, that expired 2 years ago. Great. Okay.
Awesome. All right. Hey, Or?
Yep, I'm right here.
Yeah, that's way up on your priority list.
Love it.
Think your
We're
laundry
gonna
list
have
would
to
be real long.
We have to get that taken care of fast. All right, let's leave that for after the meeting. We'll, the parties involved will get together to get that resolved.
I have a question as far as electoral process and whatnot. We never transferred the signing from Joel to Cal. So it still needs, Joel still technically, Joel and I are signers on the bank. I can still be signer on the bank. That's not a problem, but we now have to get it from Joel to Ash.
Okay. All right. Well, Joel's the elected VP. Joel can definitely sign it off. I'm not sure at this point if we need
We've
to.
got to get the treasurer, the president, incumbent, and the last president, and one trustee all in the same place at the same time.
Okay.
Can you repeat all 4 people we need really quick? I'm sorry.
Myself, the treasurer,
Mhm.
the new president. I would have said the old president, except for that it's the president prior to that. So Joel
Mhm.
Yeah.
and
And a
a
trustee.
trustee.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'll definitely make myself or one of the other trustees will make themselves available to do that. We'll just have to find a time where Joel, Stephen, Cal, you and I or one of the other trustees can all get together at the same time to get that done.
Greg, I'm retired. I can do it pretty much any time.
That's Sharon.
That's me.
All right. You're elected, Sharon. Congratulations.
No,
Well,
that
and I
was,
know Sharon
that's-
lives fairly close to me and Joel lives fairly close to me. That was a problem that we used to have, was when we had one person in Alabama and another person in Missouri. Finding a TD bank for everybody to go to was a problem.
Well, I'm
If
in
we're all-
Catonsville.
Okay, so you're not far away. So we could all go down
we're
to
all good.
Essex branch
All right.
and get that
Essex?
done.
All right. So this sounds doable. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
But it
Joel's
is again
not
one of those things that needs to be addressed. It has been ignored for too long and needs to be addressed.
Yeah, no, we're gonna follow up on that very quickly. Joel's not here for anybody else. Let's see, and that's it. So the executive, so we have an executive board. Stacy is the one continuing member of the past board, and all right. So on behalf of the trustees, so where we stand with the 501c3 is we're doing the uptake paperwork, which is a little more laborious than I would like. But that involves it may involve going down with Stacy at some point to the Capitol to get paperwork out of the Capitol. So that is not something I'm looking forward to, but we may need to do that. They're trying to do on their end without that, but they may need us to, because of the time frames involved, they may need us to do that.
Okay.
So doing the uptake form, they've been paid in full. So they have our entire payment for membership in the nonprofit Maryland nonprofit organization. There's numerous benefits which we can go into another time, including guidance for rewriting bylaws and a whole host of things.
Which
But
everyone knows needs to be done.
desperately. But and I know Scott has thoughts on that as well. But the big thing for us is simply going to be, we have to get our state incorporation status fixed. And once that's fixed, we can go forward with the 501c3. They will walk us through that entire process. And they're saying that they're going to be able to get us retroactive status, meaning that they're going to get us clearance for all the years that we haven't been.
Do you need the copies of the years that I have?
They're going over exactly what they need now as soon as we finish the uptake form. But yes, you and I are going to probably have several phone calls, and you and I are going to be sending them more documentation. Yes.
Got it.
So that's a key thing for numerous reasons. But that's the trustees' #1 priority right now.
That needs to
After
be our
that,
whole priority. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a secondary and tertiary priorities, and now we have the PO box has actually just jumped up on the list, but I didn't actually know about that. But that's, once we get that done, we have a host of other things we want to engage as an organization. But until that's done, our focus is there. So that's basically our report.
Sounds good.
All right, Mr. President, do you have any other new business that you want to ask for, that you want to open the floor to? Because if we don't, I don't want to keep people here longer on a unusual time and night that we usually don't do this.
No, I don't have anything that I would like to bring forward at this point. I just appreciate everybody, saying that I can reach out to them to get caught up and brought up to speed on stuff. So don't be surprised if you see me start pinging some of you. I'd like to hear everybody's thoughts and ideas. And,
We need much more communication, not less, more.
Absolutely.
I want this to be a group effort, and I want everybody to be on the same page.
Is there anybody here on the call that has an issue they want to discuss or raise, or put on the agenda for the next meeting? Okay. Scott, in terms of from a post-festival point of view, I'm thinking that from our 2025 season, we really want to get the elections back into September, so that we have a new administration that can be, beginning the process of festival right after the of the next year's festival.
Hang on. Here's what I would recommend. There's a multi-step process here. First one is we need to get the current membership list straightened out. Once we hold that, I can open up a ballot, which is basically going to extend all current terms through September 2025. We'll hold a vote on that. That would require a 2/3, not a simple majority, because the bylaws. We hold that. Then if that happens, then we can turn around and extend everybody's term through September, and then we can hold elections. I would suggest that we open up nominations right after FSG next year, which would be, I assume, going to be around the same day. It would be around the 6th. We could open up at the beginning of FSG, and then hold the election when we come back, and then appoint everybody effective September 1st.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I agree.
Okay, so what else do we need to do then?
I do have another item. I'm not sure if it should be an FSG item, Scott. I don't know if this needs to be an executive board decision or not, but I've been getting the event insurance for FSG just because the coordinators thus far have not been able and or willing or know any. Do you want me to do that again?
Yeah, just do it again.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just didn't know if you wanted me, because it's about time to start shopping that out, and I didn't know whether you wanted me to do it or not.
Yeah, let's go ahead and shop it out. I appreciate that. One less thing on my plate. So yeah, I have a pretty full plate, so anything I can get off, it's a good thing. So,
all right.
Okay.
Okay.
I have
So
a question sorry.
No, go.
I have a question about elections. Hi, honey. If I understood correctly, we're going to start it right before camp to elect.
We're going to open up nominations. We'll open up nominations right before festival. Nominations will close right at like a week after festival, and then we'll open up elections after that.
Right, because we want to have a business meeting in September.
No, and I understand that, but I think doing it over gathering people would be ignoring it.
That's fine, because the nominations will start before, like a few days before gathering, and go to a week after gathering.
Okay.
A lot of it's going to depend upon the dates which the gathering is set. If it's set second week of August, basically we'll open up the nominations the Friday before the second week of August, and they will stay open through the third week of August, and then we'll do elections right after that.
Okay.
Also, yeah. Well, so really it's let's extend everybody's terms till September 1st. And then once we know what the dates of the gathering are, I can juggle and figure out what dates seem to make sense in terms of the nomination and election cycle.
Yeah, no, that seems like the most rational approach. We will have a business meeting at festival. Scott, when do you have that slotted on programming?
Ping Shelley and she can tell you what slots are available.
Copy. All right. So we'll have that business meeting as we always do. The last thing would be is, do we want to select the date at this time for the meeting in September, or do we want to look at calendars and discuss that at festival?
I would discuss that at festival.
I concur. Let's discuss that at festival.
Got it. All right. No objections here then.
Well, and actually, honestly, that's September. There's really 2 September meetings. There's the transition of power meeting and then the first business meeting. The transition of power meeting we can schedule, but the first business meeting is largely going to be dictated by whoever is the executive board effective September 1.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, from the trustees, Sharon, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay.
I do want to ask
All
a
right.
question, if that's okay. What's the best place? Should I just put this on group IO to put my notes or my little notes for the meeting? What do you think?
If you email them to me, I
Okay,
can post them into the files section of the FSA announce list, or the FSA announce list. Yes.
great. Thank you.
And or that's going to be something that we have to discuss too, is moving forward, and we can do that in conjunction with Scott, who's probably the most IT proficient member, in terms of how we are going to store our documentation of all levels, of all types, in a way that is consistent and retrievable for future leaders. So that's
Ideas
going to
on
be,
that, but, yeah, I have some ideas
Say
on that. Discuss that later.
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. All right. If there's no other suggestions, Mr. President, do you want to close your meeting, or do you have anything else?
I have nothing else to add, so I vote to close the meeting for now.
Do we have a second?
You got a second from me.
Okay. Very good. Well, this probably one of the shortest and most efficient meetings in FSA history. We have a lot of stuff to move forward with, but it sounds hopeful. Look forward to working with all of you. Congratulations to everyone who was elected. Big thanks to everyone who finished their terms. And have a good night, people.
Good night.
Good night, y'all.
All right.
Much love.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
Night.
Ash,